Sean Sheehan here for Severe MMA, standing alongside David Green at the Bellator Dublin press conference. So we're just back again in Dublin. It's obviously a very big market for you. How happy you to be back again in February?
Yeah, it doesn't seem 5 minutes ago we were back here. What? No, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I think we had a fantastic event in September. You were there, you saw it, you heard it. I mean, it was really, really special, and we just couldn't think of a better way to start 2020.
I suppose looking at the fights over the last while, we saw London and other places. For you in the UK and Ireland, is Ireland the biggest destination for you?
I think from a sort of audience, we fill out the three arena, which is great. So I think what we've done with Ireland, I think it's definitely our most established market. I think for a regular return city, which I think is really good, and it's kind of the model we've been following. Bring big events here, support the local talent, and it's been a real model of success, I think, here.
I see the sign here. It says Bellator Dublin, but I don't see Bellator like 235 or anything like that. Is it one of those cards where it's half American and half Irish?
It will be this one. Yeah, we've because it's Dublin and because it really works well for us in the States as well. This will be a joint card, so we're going to have more information to come. We'll have some more fights to announce, which should be really good fights. We've got some great names coming this way as well.
So the last time I spoke to you, I asked you about that. Those big names coming over. We had Vincent Henderson, we had Miles Jury, and we obviously have Brent Primus coming as well, but he's fighting obviously Peter Queally. Are we going to have a big name, maybe an American versus an American or something to headline that portion of the card even?
Not at the moment, but I think we might be. Definitely got some good announcements to come. But I think when you see Brent against Peter, I think that's what these events are all about. Having someone, an ex-champ, someone who's fought that Michael Chandler twice, coming over to fight Peter. I think it's a great story, and it's a huge fight to have over here.
I want to ask you about the TV landscape and things like that. So Niall asked you there about Sky Sports, and obviously the deal is supposed to be ending here in a couple of weeks' time. What's the update with that? This Irish card is on 22nd February. Is this going to be on Sky Sports?
Well, we're just coming, as you'd imagine, we're just coming up to the end of this year. So we're just having the meetings now about all of our deals for next year and beyond. So you'll definitely be able to watch it in Ireland. We'll be making an announcement of how you can watch it.
So obviously with Sky Sports, if you sign a new deal with them, it's going to be some money in. The DAZN deal, it's going to be some money in. But looking at the crowds, maybe in that London card, it wasn't the best crowd in the world. I think you probably admit it yourself. We've had debates over the last while with Cage Warriors and Bellator paying big money to their fighters. If, let's say, the Sky Sports deal doesn't go the way you want it, if the DAZN deal isn't there in a couple of years' time, how sustainable is the European series?
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd be surprised to see. I mean, the London actual gate was pretty good, actually, funny enough, and we're actually probably up on the June show. So it was a good gate for us. I think it's hard to beat the atmosphere in Dublin, but in terms of gates, we're doing quite well actually. Obviously, we're looking at all the revenue streams for Bellator Europe, and it's it needs to stand on its 2 feet. But I think we're quite happy with the way it's going at the moment.
Is it something that's going to be? Do you think this in 10 years' time, Bellator Europe will still be around?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think you just see Bellator absolutely here. I mean, it's my goal to make sure it's part of the landscape.
Bellator or Bellator Europe? Like obviously Ireland is going to be a huge market no matter what, even if if there's no cards in England and things. But it's like, and I suppose another question I had to that as well. Now we look at the likes of Kiefer Crosby and the other people coming up through here, and like some people are calling it like Bama, and then maybe they'll move on to Bellator. Is that how you see it? Do you see this as a promotion on its own, or do you see it as part of Bellator as well?
Oh, 100% it's part of Bellator. That's why I answered that question like I did, actually, to be honest. I don't, it's got an office in London and we're working out of Bellator Europe, but it's part of the Bellator umbrella. And I don't think it's second tier at all. I've said that all along. For me, it's about, you got someone like Brent coming over. It's not about having some sort of second tier and then you get to that. This is all about actually providing a platform. Just because we're in Europe, it doesn't mean it's just a geographic thing. In terms of the fighters, I think you've seen it last year with the likes of, we had Musasi versus Lovato in a title fight. We had people like Pitbull come over. Brent's already been over in Birmingham last year. So we're not afraid to put the big names over here. So it's definitely not a second tier.
The Cage Warriors came back to Cork a couple of weeks ago, and I spoke to Graham Boylan, who obviously in a similar position to you with the Cage Warriors. And I asked him about, I'd spoken to you and I asked him about what you had said about, not really having a big rival here. And he said they don't really have big rivals either. That if you're a fighter and you want to be the best fighter in the world, you go to Cage Warriors. If you want to earn a lot of money, you go to Bellator. When you hear things like that, what do you think?
I really can't be bothered to get into any tit for tat for that.
I go on.
I clearly don't agree with it in the sense of, what Bellator does. I think, there's not some sort of tier system. It's guys, as you saw today, we've re-signed a lot of the guys and I think they're doing really well. I think we're supporting the local talent, and I think a lot of these guys who are fighting on Bellator contracts now are now professional. And I think if you look at the difference from a year ago. It's completely different. These guys are able to fight. They're getting paid very well, and it's just a completely different landscape than it was a year ago.
With obviously fight promotions, we have the fights, and we have it's like Kiefer, James, all the guys here. They're moving up and they want to become a champion, want to be great fighters. But we've Aaron Chalmers, and I asked him, "Is it like your goal to be a champion?" He goes, "Oh yeah, maybe kind of." But he's coming in here and he's having fights, and he's having fights to have fun. And we have James Haskell obviously coming in doing the same. Is that something you're kind of happy to have? Not just the fighters who want to become the best fighters in the world, but also fighters that maybe sell tickets and that will put on good fights that people want to see.
Well, I mean, I think that's probably Aaron being a little bit humble as well. He's very like that. I think he's an out and out MMA fighter now. I don't think you can disagree with that. He's been, he's committed his life to doing that, and he's doing very well. I think he's always humble in his aspirations, but I think he's done very well. I mean, he's won loads of fights, and he's really committed to doing well. I think it's not about some sort of sideshow at all with him, and he's proven the difference from the attitude we got when he first fought to now is completely different. And you take that along to someone like James, who is an elite athlete, and I think people will be surprised at the application you will get from him in terms of how he approaches the fights. And so it's not some sort of one-off for him. It's going to be something he dedicates the next few years to.
Well, when he came out, a lot of people were like, "Oh, he's a very good athlete." James Haskell, obviously an ex-England rugby player, and he goes into the jungle for a couple of months. Like there was talks of him having a fight maybe early next year. Do you think that is a signal of someone who's actually taking it that seriously, or is it someone who just maybe wants to be a star in a different field?
No, I've obviously had that question, but I don't think it's true at all. I think when you look at James, there's a reason we signed him, and it's because of media personality as well. I mean, he was doing things when he was a rugby player, be it on quiz shows and different things. Anyway, that's the life he leads. That's the life of someone in the spotlight. Him and his wife. And so him going in the jungle for 2 weeks, I think he was in there maybe 16, 17 days. I don't think is the end of the world. I mean, he wasn't drinking. He was eating well, if not a lot. And someone of his professionalism, I really don't think that is going to be a factor. And, he texted me as soon as he came out saying I'm ready to go. And, he was training right until the day he went in there. And I'm sure he's training now. So I don't have any concerns from that point of view. And if anything, one of the reasons we signed him is because he's a personality and he's going to bring eyeballs to the sport, which is what it's all about. We can't exist in a little bubble.
Last couple of things here, and I tell you, really appreciate your time. All the Irish fighters here today, Lee McCourt, Kiefer Crosby, Peter Cooley, James Goddard, they're all SBG fighters. And obviously there's lots of gyms in Ireland. The Team Rhino, I know Paul Redmond will probably be on this card, and teams up the north and everything like that. It seems to be very SBG centric, Bellator. Is that something that you've noticed? You couldn't help but notice it. But do you want to get more gyms and help build the sport in Ireland with those other gyms as well?
100%. I mean, I think, obviously there's a lot of SPG guys, but SPG is a big gym here. It's a big presence in Ireland and certainly around Dublin. I think, if anything, we've helped, raise the profile of MMA in Ireland. And I'm hearing from the guys there's lots of new gyms opening up all over the country. And, the more the merrier. If we can bring them in, we will. It's all about talent and at the end of the day and who can rise to the top.
And last thing here, I was looking at the tickets on Ticketmaster today. Maybe less than half the tickets are gone. Maybe the last time we did there was maybe a few more. I know Christmas is coming up. Maybe it's a tough time for people and stuff. Do you expect this to be another sellout? And how the tickets usually go around this time? 2 months out from the fight or so.
Oh, I think when you think of, I haven't checked today, but I think we're probably ahead of the game from last time. I mean, we were only on sale for 3 months, I think, last time. So we're 10 weeks out now. We're doing very well. So I've got no worries at all about the 3 Arena.
David Green, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.